Welcome to Your Bookkeeping Matters. I'm Lisa Turner, bringing you short and snackable weekly episodes on bookkeeping and business matters in an easy to understand way so you can be in control and confident that you know your bookkeeping matters. Let's dive into this week's episode. Hello. Thanks for popping me in your ears for your next important bookkeeping matter. And at the time of this episode going live, it will be the last week of June, which is the end of financial year here in Australia. And with end of financial year, there are loads of things to take care of with your numbers, particularly if you have employees on the books. So today I'm going to step you through the basics of Single Touch Payroll, or STP, and what it covers and why it's such an essential area for you to be across as a business owner, even if you don't have employees yet. If you've been around in business for a while or been an employee before, you might remember many years ago, at the end of each financial year, you would receive a group certificate or ATOPS, ATO Payment Summary, or PSAR, Payment Summary Annual Report. It was known by a few different things, but it gave a breakdown of your income from your employer for the year, and you would give the report to your tax agent when doing your personal tax return so they knew your income and how much tax you'd paid and any allowances if you had any. This process has been completely replaced by a system or a process called Single Touch Payroll, or STP. This was brought in and rolled out in stages by the ATO here in Australia to take everything online and have wages, super, the tax deducted, all reported every time payment is made to an employee, instead of the ATO finding out once a year what people were earning. Now, under this new system, employers need to use STP-enabled payroll software, meaning it's linked to the ATO to report and lodge the pays on the same day as wages or before. In other words, not after. So you can't have a manual payroll book or a spreadsheet that you put the payroll in and every now and then dive in and send that off to the ATO. It has to be done before or on the day of payment. There were loads of reasons why this was introduced. Transparency around monitoring if people were being paid regularly, being paid their super, and down the track, payroll data would flow through to other areas, reducing how many reports and lodgements small business owners need to do, hopefully reducing the admin burden. The government is continually improving on the system and where the data flows to, with only this year, 2023, a new phase implemented, which further disaggregated the numbers and passes the data on to other government areas, not just the ATO. So there will be more changes to come in the future as well as the system evolves, but the bones of the system and what you need to know won't change. So let's take a step back. What the heck is it? Well, it's as simple as processing payroll digitally. So using an online payroll software and clicking an extra button at the end to file it with the ATO. Essentially, with a single touch, lodging the figures to loads of different areas as soon as payroll is processed. Pretty straightforward, hey? Like anything though, garbage in means garbage out. So if payroll is new to you, it would be a great idea to get a trusty professional to set it up for you. As always, the software makes it appear deceptively simple, and once you know what you're doing, It is quite straightforward, but there is lots of setup and things to know in the back end of your software and the settings, because all the different pay items have special categories to help them flow to the right areas when you report them. There are some issues to be aware of as well. Not all payroll software is STP enabled. Most are, but check to be sure. And because you need to be using software to lodge, remembering you need to lodge on or before payment, not after, you also can't pay the staff and then figure it out later in the software. Getting the software set up and ready to go before you pay staff is crucial, which is why it's important to have the knowledge of what STP is, be across it, and know your legal obligations as a business owner and employer, particularly before you onboard your first exciting employee. So when you are ready to dive in and grow a wonderful supportive team around you, you're set up for success to get it done the right way. Now you know what STP is now and what you need to be doing during the year. You need to process payroll in accounting software, which is STP enabled, and lodge the payroll to the ATO on the day you pay or before, not after. It's not an optional part of having employees. It's essential and a legal requirement that you do this. Your job, taking care of this as the employer, doesn't end there. Even though there are no such things as those group certificates or payment summaries anymore, you still need to let the ATO know you've finished all your wages for the year, and they can close out your employee's income for the financial year. And this is done by lodging a finalisation event. Each time you process pay, it sends the data through to its areas all over the ATO and other connected services, which includes your employee's MyGov account. They can log into MyGov anytime they like to look up their gross wages and super so far for the year. Throughout the year, it will have the status year to date, and with this status, they can't yet do their personal tax return. So once you're finished processing pays for the year, you do all your checks and balances. It's a crucial step in closing payroll for the year to reconcile everything, or for your trusty bookkeeper to do it for you, then lodge the final event. And this changes the income in their MyGov to the status tax ready. And if you're their only employer, they're good to go and get their taxes done. If they have other employers, they'll need to wait until they all say tax ready. And the deadline for employees to do this final event is the 14th of July, which is why I wanted to talk to you on this timely topic, being we're at end of financial year here in Australia. If you have employees on the books, it's important you know how to close out the year with the finalisation, and when anyone asks you for a group certificate, you know they don't exist. Your employees can log into MyGov anytime and check out their income and its status, and if they're keen to know their final year-to-date figures without logging into MyGov, it will generally also be on their last pay slip of the year. If this is all feeling a little overwhelming and you're wondering, can my bookkeeper take care of it all for me? Absolutely. So long as they are a registered BAS agent, your contracted or outsourced bookkeeper is allowed to do all of this for you. A couple of things to keep in mind. It's illegal for a contractor to do any aspect of payroll for you without them being a registered BAS agent like me or a tax agent, your tax accountant. And not all bookkeepers offer payroll services. There is a lot to know and learn and keep on top of. If you're keen to join a free small business community so you don't feel like you're doing it all alone, you can dive over and join us in my free Numbers Club group on Facebook, where we do live mini trainings, answer general questions, and keep you updated on news, changes, dates you need to be aware of, and I would love to see you there. And this week's super short and snackable bookkeeping matter is all wrapped up. And the last episode coming to you in the 22-23 financial year. If you loved this episode and think it would also help one of your small business friends, I would love it if you shared it with them so they can learn their bookkeeping matters too. Looking forward to chatting with you next week in the new financial year.